And now for our next news special report.
Buckle up, folks, because there is blood in the water and the sharks are circling. Tonight, we're peeling back the curtain on a political earthquake that could shatter the very foundations of our republic. Is Joe Biden's presidency about to implode? Are the Obamas and Clintons orchestrating the most audacious power grab in American history? And could a centuries-old constitutional loophole pave the way for an unprecedented third Obama term? Well, buckle up, patriots. By the end of this report, everything you thought you knew about the 2024 election will be turned upside down. And folks, just like the political chess game we're uncovering tonight, our channel is facing its own high-stakes match. For over a decade, we've been your beacon of truth, but now we are on the brink of checkmate. The mainstream media is trying to silence us, just like they're trying to hide these political maneuvers from you. We've been demonetized on YouTube for over 16 months, and Rumble has turned its back on us. But we refuse to let the flame of truth be extinguished. Your support is our last move to stay in the game. Donate now using the link below. Together, we can keep exposing the truth and fighting for the America that we love. Now, folks, the political landscape is shifting beneath our feet, and tonight we're diving deep into rumors and speculations that are rocking Washington, D.C. Now, let's start with a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the Democrat Party. We'll start with Bill O'Reilly, a name you all know. Yes, he has dropped a political grenade. He's reporting that the decision has already been made for President Biden to exit the 2024 race. Now, we can't confirm this, but O'Reilly claims it's due to disastrous internal polling and a drought in campaign donations. If true, this could be the beginning of a seismic shift in American politics, but it gets even more interesting. Tucker Carlson, never one to mince words, has some explosive information of his own. That's right, according to Carlson, former President Obama's recent tweet supporting Biden was just for show. Behind closed doors, Obama is reportedly telling people that Biden can't win and is pushing for an open convention. Now, we all know the relationship between the Obamas and the Bidens has been rocky at best, but Carlson suggests it has now hit a new low with Jill Biden at the center of the storm. So this brings us to our first scenario, the Obama gambit. Folks, this is not just another run-of-the-mill political maneuver. This is 4D chess at its finest. But before we dive into it and how it could play out, let's take a look at some insider information that sheds light on the situation. Watch.
And same thing with Kamala Harris, is she's not popular, but you can't remove the first black lady to be vice president from the goddamn presidential ticket. Like, what kind of message are you going to send to, like, African American voters?
So that's the reason why they won't remove her.
That's what I think. How would you spin that? People would be like, what the f? Like she's a woman and she's multiracial.
Is he going to be the nominee?
Yes. And she will be the vice president, not me.
Yeah, I don't...
There was a debate about removing her from the ticket, but sadly they didn't. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her in mass. I think they need to get rid of him or get rid of her.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to do that. No one in modern history has ever said, like, we're not going to renominate the president for a second term. That just hasn't happened.
So they know that he has those issues.
I think so.
But they're not going to say it.
Shows it. I think that they're really concerned about it.
But they won't say it. Well, I guess if they say it publicly,
correct.
Biden
They can't say it publicly.
They can't say it publicly.
No, they got to
Do they
toe the
say it
line.
privately? So they know it.
They know it. Of course they do. But it's the optics and like the scandal. I think they feel wouldn't be worth it.
I mean,
I'm just telling you what I've heard. I've had a meeting with Michelle Obama at one point when I was an intern, and someone asked her, "Will you ever run for office?" And she said no. Emphatically.
Really?
She said, "I will never run for office. It does not interest me. I've seen how, like," she said a lot more eloquently, of course, than I'm going to say it, but she was like, "I've seen all the shit my husband has had to go through, and that does not interest me."
Now that's Charlie Krager, a top White House cybersecurity official caught on camera by undercover journalist James O'Keefe. Now Krager's comments are explosive, to say the least. He confirms what many have suspected about Biden's mental state, stating that Biden is definitely slowing down. And even more shocking, he reveals that the White House can't say it publicly, but they want to replace Kamala Harris. But here's where it gets really interesting. He claims that when approached about running for office, Michelle Obama gave him a firm no, citing the challenges her husband faced. Now, as for Harris, Krager notes she, couldn't keep black staff, but adds that removing the first black lady to be vice president from the ticket was not an option. Now, with that context in mind, let's explore how the Obama gambit could play out. Michelle Obama, beloved First Lady, she announces her candidacy for presidency. The Democrat base goes wild. We're talking enthusiasm levels that would make AOC blush. But here's where it gets really interesting. She picks Barack as her running mate. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gary, isn't there a rule against that? Well, you'd be right to ask. The 22nd Amendment limits a president to 2 terms. But here's the kicker. It doesn't say anything about being vice president. So imagine this. Michelle wins the election. She's sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, a nightmare scenario. Then in a move that would make Frank Underwood jealous, she steps down. Suddenly, Barack Obama is back in the Oval Office. It's not just about 2024. It's about rewriting the rules of American politics. But let's be clear. This isn't just about getting Barack back into power. It's about leveraging the Obama brand, which still carries massive weight with Democrat voters. It's a way to sidestep the messy primary process and present a united front against the Republican nominee. Now, of course, critics would cry foul. They'd say it's an end run around the Constitution, but supporters would argue it's perfectly legal. After all, the founders didn't anticipate every possible scenario, did they? But wait, there's more. Take a look at this front page from the New York Post. Off his clocker. It's quite a headline, folks. Now, the Post is reporting that Biden is only sharp for a few hours a day, and a whopping 72% of voters think that he's not fit for the job. This kind of coverage is fuel for those pushing for a change at the top of the Democrat ticket. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more explosive, we've got this breaking news from iSource News. That's right. What does it say? It says, according to iSource, Jill Biden is allegedly negotiating an exit deal for the president. We're talking about a $2 billion presidential library fund, protection from prosecution for the Biden family, and a guaranteed $100 million book deal. Now, of course, we can't confirm these claims, but if true, it suggests that behind the scenes, the wheels are already in motion for a major shakeup in the Democrat leadership. Now let's talk about the Rockefeller precedent. Now, this scenario involves a complex series of moves that could see Hillary Clinton in the Oval Office. It starts with Kamala Harris resigning, Biden appointing Clinton as VP, and then stepping down himself. Sound crazy? Maybe. But stranger things have happened in Washington. Now, this one's named after Nelson Rockefeller, who became VP under Gerald Ford without ever being elected. But what we're looking at here makes Rockefeller's ascension look like small potatoes. So here's how this could play out. Kamala Harris resigns as vice president. Maybe she decides to run for governor of California, or maybe she's offered a cushy private sector job. The reason doesn't matter. What matters is that the VP slot is now open. Step 2, Biden, in a move that would shock Washington, appoints Hillary Clinton as his new VP. Now you might be thinking, Hillary again? But remember, Clinton still has a lot of pull in the Democrat Party, and let's not forget, she did win the popular vote in 2016. Then, step 3, Biden steps down. Maybe it's health reasons. Maybe it's the pressure from those polls that we saw earlier. Whatever the cause, suddenly Hillary Clinton is president of the United States. Step 4, Clinton appoints a new vice president. Maybe it's Gavin Newsom. Maybe it's Gretchen Whitmer. Either way, we're looking at a completely transformed ticket heading into the general election. Now, this scenario might seem far-fetched, but let's not forget, we've seen parts of this play out before. When Spiro Agnew resigned as Nixon's VP, Gerald Ford appointed who was to replace him. When Nixon resigned, Ford became president without ever being elected to national office. The key difference here is the timing. This would all need to happen before the election, giving the new Clinton whoever ticket time to campaign. It's a high-risk strategy, but in a political climate where conventional wisdom seems to go out the window on a daily basis, who's to say it couldn't happen? And speaking of strange, check out this tweet from the late John McAfee. Okay. Now, we're not saying that McAfee had a time machine, but his prediction about Biden stepping down in September is eerily close to what we're seeing now. You can see it right there. This tweet was from 2020. Russia's first time traveler has returned, and he said in September, Biden's medically diagnosed as unfit for office. They discovered that DNC has legal power to choose replacement without national vote. Wow, and he says you'll never guess who they choose. It's a reminder that in politics, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. But who could replace Biden if he does step aside? Well, Vivek Ramaswamy has an interesting take on that. Ramaswamy points out that a recent Biden fundraising email listed potential nominees and their polling numbers. But here's the kicker. Some names were conspicuously absent. Could this be a clue about who the Democrat establishment is really backing? And just when you thought things couldn't get any more intense, we have this report from Amanda Turkle at NBC News. She reports that the Biden campaign manager held a tense call with top donors outlining what would happen to the campaign infrastructure if Biden steps aside. Apparently, some donors are even asking for refunds. Now, the campaign stresses that Biden has no intention of dropping out, but the fact that they're having these conversations speaks volumes. Now, both of these scenarios, the Obama gambit and the Rockefeller precedent, raise serious questions about the nature of our republic. Are we okay with this level of political maneuvering? Does it violate the spirit of the Constitution, even if it follows the letter of the law? Let's not forget the political fallout. Republicans would cry foul, no doubt. We'd be looking at legal challenges, possibly all the way to the Supreme Court. It could make Bush v. Gore look like a friendly disagreement, but here is the thing, folks. Whether you love these ideas or hate them, they're being discussed in the corridors of power. And in a political landscape where the unexpected has become the norm, we'd be foolish to dismiss them outright. So what does this mean for our republic? Are we witnessing the birth of a new political dynasty, whether it's the Obamas or the Clintons? Or is this just the natural evolution of our democratic process? One thing's for sure, the coming months will be crucial, whether it's the 25th Amendment, an open convention, or some other scenario we haven't even considered yet. The 2024 election is shaping up to be like anything we've ever seen before. So stay tuned, folks. The story is far from over, and you can bet we will be here bringing you every twist and turn as it happens. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Patriots, the political chess game we have uncovered isn't just Washington gossip. It's a 5-alarm wake-up call for our republic. The Obama gambit, the Rockefeller precedent. These aren't just theories, they are blueprints being drawn up in the halls of power right now. Our founders built a system of checks and balances, but they never dreamed of the high-stakes maneuvering we're seeing today. In this nation of the people, by the people, for the people, the ultimate power is ours. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, make your voice heard. There is hope. By electing Donald Trump, we have the choice to end this madness and restore sanity to our government. As Thomas Jefferson wisely warned, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.